Who remembers produce stands on the roadside? I do. Don't have them around here, at least not close. But when I was a kid, we would drive through the country to get to them, and there were so many mint fields. And right after a rain, the windows down in the car, you could smell that mint coming all the way through the car. Hi, it's Evie. I was watching Dee and Doug Retired, and they went to a roadside produce. Maybe it's not really considered a roadside. It was established many, many years ago. They sell fresh produce and home-baked goods, honey. It was so fun to watch her go through that because it reminded me of when I went to those when I was a kid. We would bring apples home by the box full, and we would eat as many as we could fresh, just sitting out in the carport, laughing, playing, and eating these apples. And then we went inside at some point and helped my mom put them up to get them ready for apple pie, and we did make a few pies. Got cucumbers, and we ate as many of those fresh as we could, put them in salads, and my mom made pickles out of the rest. She used to make a bread and butter pickle, which I know had onions in it, but I don't know what other seasoning was in it. And I know my dad could put away about a half a jar of those with one meal. He loved them. Corn was not as much fun when she brought that home because we didn't eat it raw and we had to shuck it, and that silk is so messy. And then we blanched it and we put it in the freezer. We just left it on the cob. Potatoes were the same way. She brought those home and we didn't eat them raw, but we did cook some of them fresh, and then we canned the rest in one of those old pressure cookers that the gauge rocks back and forth. And I was just sure at any time that thing was gonna blow off and hit the ceiling and scald us, but it never happened. Carrots, we ate those fresh as well, and we put those up in the freezer, and we put them in like one meal-sized baggies, which I don't know if it qualifies as a baggie. There was 5 kids, so there was 7 of us. So it would be a lot of vegetables. Tomatoes, same thing with the tomatoes. Fresh tomatoes, eating them like apples. And then we would go inside and get them ready to go in jars, cut them up, and Mom would pressure cook them. We had 2 kitchens in this house. The house was very small, but there was 2 kitchens. The back kitchen had a sink, and our washer and dryer was in there, and there was a long countertop, and there was these huge cupboards that went from all the way to the ceiling to the floor, and that's where all of our home canned goods went. So the tomatoes looked really pretty with their orangey red color in that cupboard that was painted white. And green beans. We also canned the green beans, and all we did was snip the ends off and put them in the jar long, and they were so pretty next to the red tomatoes. Red and green are very complementary anyway, but they looked beautiful. And I remember my mom saying, we have to be very careful these are sealed because we will get botulism from green beans, which I believe is true, but obviously no one ever got sick. It was fun going to that market, even though it was virtual, with Dee and her crazy husband Doug, and remembering being a kid and picking up the produce. We didn't get a little of this and a little of that. We got large quantities of one thing and took them home and took care of them like that. I even remember an egg farm closing, and we had to drive out of town, and we picked up these wire cages that were, I don't know, maybe 4 feet by 4 feet or 3 feet by 3 feet. I was a kid, and these hens are just crammed in there. And we brought them home and we let them loose in our backyard. And slowly we put all those chickens up. And I thought I would never be able to eat chicken again because wet chickens don't smell very good when you're dipping them in the hot water to pull the feathers out. And every time I saw the chicken come out of the freezer, I was like, no, 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 no. but I eventually got over it. Anyway, thanks for being here, and I see you next time. Bye.